Alrighty, I think we are done sanding or done dressing our frets. Alright. Alrighty. So, get this last little bit of tape off. Now, you'll see that I do need to go back and clean up the glue and, you know, little filings and all that stuff. But dressing these frets, and this is by no means perfect, but dressing these frets was not a terribly difficult process. There's, you know, a million places I can improve, but we did get it done, and we are all fairly, where's my ruler? Good. So, what you're looking for is all your frets to be even, and I don't have any rocky spots where you can rock the ruler back and forth. So, try and get this up here where you can see it. Alright. So, that's good. Now I'm being critical of my work here, and I say, oh, you can do better than that. Nope, we're not going to do that. I'm going to be critical, going to take this as a win, and I'm going to clean up this glue a little bit. I need to go and grab some acetone, and then we'll get that cleaned up a little bit, and just have to be very light with that. Get too much on there, it'll probably eat up the super glue. But I don't think there's any better way. I got one that's a little high right there. I see you. Alright, anyway, I'm going to go get myself some acetone, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I'm back in the shop. I went to get some acetone from the house. Spent a couple minutes taking care of a couple of other things. And shop is getting nice and toasty. The kerosene heater is kicking it out. So I need to pick up a few things and then get back to our project, because I have a very small bench here, and with all the things piled up on it for doing the job, can't get anything done. So anyway, this is a good trick if you are ever trying to glue something and you don't want the glue to stick to your braces, panel clamps for one. Probably could even work for parallel clamps, but because that bar has to go inside the mechanism, I don't think I want to try that. I do put some parchment paper down on it, because the slick side of the parchment paper, wood glue won't stick to that either. But this packing tape trick, super glue won't stick to it, so it's a handy trick. And so I am taking my acetone and just kind of doing a little scrubby of the fretboard, and trying not to get it anywhere that's going to loosen up a fret and cause me a problem. So tell me in the comments about a project that you have done that just struck your fancy out of nowhere, and you knew that you just had to do it whether it made sense to somebody else or not. I think I could definitely see where fret wire or something flat that could just be hammered in might be advantageous, even though I am not unhappy with this. I do think it's going to take a little sanding to get all of the glue residue off, much to my chagrin. I hate sanding. Everybody hates sanding. Anyone who's honest with you will tell you it's one of those ASMR activities. It's fun to watch somebody else do it, but if you don't have to go to the trouble, you don't have to go to the trouble. So when this video comes out, I would expect there will be at least one person that says, "Did you have to show us cleaning the fretboard?" Well, yeah, because it's a part of the process. And if you want to know the process, then you got to know the process. If you don't want to know, watch AI-generated videos. All right. All right. So, got it cleaned up a little better. It is not perfect by any stretch. Now, piece of sandpaper. This is so small. I think we're just going to go for a very fine grit paper to help us clean up. This is more of the Dollar Tree sandpaper. A little 1x4 is a little wide. Another scrap wood. This is about a 2x2 that was part of a 2x4 that became one of the braces for my CNC table. You may think, boy, he never throws anything away. Believe it or not, I throw a lot of stuff away, just not stuff that may come in handy for projects. All right. So, now, this is just a flat surface, and, you know, if we were making a guitar neck, then you want it slightly coved, but let's see here. dressing our frets a little bit. Alright, so we're going to dress our fretboard a little bit and try to get this glue off. And that is also going to do us the favor of making sure our frets are all of a uniform height. Alright, now try and clean this board up a little bit. Alright, lay this aside. So I'm just giving it a little scrub with a bleach wipe, and then we'll go back after it once it dries. But I don't think it's looking too bad, just, you know, needs cleaned. Unfortunately, paper clips sand with a very gray dust. I mean, obviously it's metal, it's going to be gray, but it's a very fine dust, and it looks just as much like if you finish pine and don't use a pre-stain conditioner, the super glue makes it a little blotchy. Now for a rustic instrument, it's not a big deal. But it would be if I was trying to do anything with it other than just this. And I have every faith that this is better treatment than the traditional instruments received when they were handmade using a pocket knife and spit and baling wire. But so we learned something again. Probably better not to use as much super glue. Maybe make a puddle of super glue and dip the fret wire in it and then press it in place, and not actually put it on the wood. But if nothing else, this will be very clean. Alright, so there's our fretboard. Throw these things away.